forsaken. Gather us in, the blind and the lame.
All right, let's try this again. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another edition of the Upper Farmer Cigar. Unfortunately, we're in the deck or in the garage tonight. We are currently in a monsoon-type rainstorm, cold, wet, rainy, all the good stuff in life. Could I have pushed this off a couple of days? Yeah, I suppose I could have. But I didn't. Here we are in the garage. Because I like shooting these ones. And yeah, before we get too much, I'm sure you're all curious about the title. Let's look at what we're drinking, what we're smoking. This is from the Blackbird Cigar Company. Jackadoo. I'm going to say Jackadoo. It's Connecticut. So I kind of found these cigars. There's a sample pack of them. I was like, well, I'll just give them a try, see how they are. They're probably gimmicky. The wrappers are just beautiful. And sometimes with beautiful wrappers means the cigars might not be as good. So I tried one. I was going to do like a whole series with the Blackbird cigars, smoke all those ones first. But I decided to smoke one off camera. It was actually very, very tasty. So I had another one off camera. You can see they're kind of a smaller cigar. So they're a quick smoke. They're an easy smoke. Great flavor. So I only have, out of the sample pack of 6, I only have 2 left. So I said, well, wait a minute. I need to put one of these in a video here soon. I'm probably going to get another sample pack, actually, because they're very tasty. Well-constructed cigars. Very easy to smoke. But the beer, which is kind of on topic for tonight, on theme, the Dirty Bastard from Founders. I think I've had this one before, a Scotch-style ale. I know I haven't had it on the video here. I'm just saying in the off-duty life, if you will. I believe I've had the Dirty Bastard. Maybe not, though. And I don't know if I've had it from Founders. So we'll give it a try. I do like a good Scotch ale. Hopefully I didn't do anything too dumb with it. But time will quickly tell. Ooh, it looks beautiful. Nice dark red. Good Scottish ale. Oh, that's delicious. That's good stuff right there. A little bit of a bitter aftertaste. But sometimes that's not a bad thing. So, you might all be wondering, what's up with the name of the video, right? From the government, and I'm here to help. Richard, what's his name? It's a presidential quote from Ronald Reagan. I can't believe I blanked on that for a minute. Ronald Reagan would come out and say the scariest phrase you'll ever hear is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Name of the video, theme tonight. Kind of a griping video. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you guys don't like these gripes. But we kind of passed an anniversary. And it was the Father's Day flooding. The incident that happened up in Houghton, Michigan in 2018. They had a 1,000-year flooding event. Massive rainstorms hit, absolutely decimated my hometown. Crazy, really. I mean, that area was devastated beyond devastation, especially for the size of the area and then the size of the event. Multi-millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage. Because this was a 1,000-year event, even for people who might have been interested in getting flood insurance, could not. Because they were beyond the 100-year floodplain. So many of these homes that were destroyed, insurance wouldn't cover them. So the insurance companies just said, nope, I forget, someone did a report and said exactly how much insurance money was actually dished out, and it was next to nothing. The amount of damage sustained. Absolutely crazy. If you don't know, the government actually makes people who get loans, home loans, that live within a 100-year flood plain. If you're going to get a home loan, you have to get flood insurance through the federal government. And they'll force you to buy flood insurance, but they'll very seldomly pay out. And it's all price controlled by the federal government. So if you're like, hey, I'm worried about floods, I want to get myself flood insurance. If you live outside the 100-year flood zone, they'll tell you, nope, can't buy it. Can't even buy it. Try it. If you're out of the flood zone, call your insurance company for a quote on how much flood insurance will be. If they do give it to you, it'll be somewhere in the range of $10,000 to $50,000 a year for flood insurance. 5 figures. Craziness. But why am I griping? Why am I bitching? Well, a bunch of reasons, actually. One, I've already talked about, the government kind of failed. A lot of these people who would have gladly paid for some form of flood insurance were told they couldn't because they weren't in the 100-year floodplain. But yet here they are, their homes are flooded. The city of Houghton got denied federal aid. FEMA denied them. Shot the city down, shot the residents down, did not send up any help. At the time, I worked for the government, a governmental agency whose job was response. I said, well, this is a no-brainer. My job is disaster response and disaster preparedness. I'm sure I'll be sent to help take care of my relatives, family, neighbors, friends. Put in my request. Monday morning, boom. Happened on a Sunday on Father's Day. Me and the rest of the team were all getting geared up, getting ready. Put in our request Monday morning. Request denied. We told to stand down. Criteria weren't met. So we worked a couple hours in the morning to try and get that criteria met. Stand down. More criteria. More objectives. Now I come from a large response background. And I told my boss, I said, I'm feeling sick. It's one of them dare diseases I think are going to last the next 5 days, 5 business days. I told her this just after lunch. She knew what I meant. I was going to respond to this. Everyone else on the team got their boss to understand that they were going to respond to this. 48 hours later, after we'd been there, boots on the ground, 48 hours after we got boots on the ground, we got the confirmation that, yep, we can go ahead and respond to this 1,000-year disaster. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. That's one of the memories I have of that. I mean, we were already working for 2 solid days, setting up volunteer centers and cycling through people and getting resources and manpower and coordinating efforts and labor and helping people. We came in 2 days early. I know the question you're asking, did my boss make me take sick time? And the principle of it, yes. For the principle of it, she made me take some sick time. She said, I don't want you to try and call my bluff. It wasn't much. I think I only took like maybe I took a whole 8 hours. Maybe I took a whole day. But I definitely took 4 hours of sick time. For the principle of it, of course. Running the volunteer center, these were community members who stepped up and helped their neighbors, helped strangers. Some of them had their own homes were completely flooded out. But they knew they were able-bodied and more suited, more fit to help others. So they went and helped other people. Like I said, there was next to no government response for the 72 hours they talk about. Even some of that showed up was ineffective. They don't talk about that in the news stories, of course. I probably shouldn't be, even at some level. But let's write off as a cautionary tale. Be aware there's a patch out there in the backpacking and hiking community. Help's not coming, save yourself. Strong mentality, really. Something I've had in backpacking. There's been areas I've been backpacking and canoeing. The hike went sideways. No one was coming. It would be multi-days to hike out to get help. So if you get hurt, you get injured, you get lost, find your own way out. We'd be in a better place if people took that advice. Instead of wondering when the superheroes, when the federal government is going to come save them, and instead help themselves, we'd have a much better place, actually. Kind of reminds me, if you guys seen The Incredibles, interesting movie. The first one, of course, was better, like most of these ones. I think, really was only supposed to be a one-off film. But then they did Incredibles 2. And not as good as the original, but the message in there. The message that the quote-unquote bad guy was trying to relay is that they relied too heavily on superheroes to save them. She talked about trying to beg and plead with her mother we should run, we should evacuate. Her mother and father said, no, the supers will save us. Supers will save us, we'll stay in place. They'll be here soon to help us. Her mother and father died, leaving the daughter and brother to fend for themselves. I wish people would take their own safety, their own well-being into their own hands. Something I think growing up in the UP, being a Youper, has really blessed me with. Realizing that there's not a lot of help out here. You put your car in the ditch, you're going to be there a while. Some of these places, it might be a day or so before someone finds you, if ever. The U.S. would be in such a better place. People just help themselves. Be prepared for themselves. Don't rely on some governmental agency or even private agency. Most of them are now governmental. You know, charities have become so governmental now, it's crazy. Save yourself. Help's not coming. And fear those words. From the government, I'm here to help. Nothing reinforced that more than that Father's Day response. Nothing hardened my resolve to be more prepared than that Father's Day response. The fact that I was prepared. I could leave on a moment's notice to go to do a response. My wife and kids would be safe. They'd be protected. They'd be strong enough to help themselves if anything was to happen while I was gone. Liberating feeling. Could you do that? Could you leave your child or spouse or dog, for that matter, at a moment's notice and be gone for up to a week? How much lead time would you honestly need? For me, if my boss would have answered, I would have left on Sunday. Well, roads were still flooded out and river and rainwater was still raging and the storm was still going. But alas, alack, I waited until it was safe to travel. Still, though, had but mere hours to get my family around and ready. I had my gear all packed. When I woke up that morning to go to work, I knew I wasn't coming back home. I was driving straight out to Houghton. Woke my kids up even and gave them kisses and told them it's all right, it's go time. Most of that damage and flooding happened in the night. I only heard about it due to friends and family who contacted me about it. Stuff I heard on the radio and news and the police scanner. We just went. My family was prepared for that. Is yours? What would you have to do? What would your family have to do? How long would you need to be ready to just go for a week? Anyway, folks, enjoy my beer, reminisce about some good memories of that response. Some wonderful things happened. Lots of faith in humanity was restored, and unfortunately, a lot of loss of faith in agencies and policies and procedures and governmental bodies and protocols and SOPs. Faith in that was destroyed. But we move on. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. Hope you're prepping and preparing. And we will see you on the next one.